Arsenal sitting pretty at the top of the league, 5 points clear. Welcome to the Arsenal show. Let's get it. Wagwan, everyone. I hope you're doing well and welcome back to another Arsenal show. Welcome if this is your first time. To those new subscribers, big up yourself and big up each and every one of you over at AFTV who has subscribed. If you haven't seen it yet, I had a fan cam on there, not just myself, but one of my co-hosts in here as well certainly did. So I recommend you go check it out, guys. But guys, we are here. Let me introduce my co-host before we get into anything, before we get into your comments, the nitty-gritty. And if one of our co-hosts can silence their phone, I check it. But yeah, big up my brother King in at the bottom right here. Hope you're doing well, man. Big up yourself.
I'm good, man. You smashed it. I just have to start with that, man. You really smashed it. I'm so proud of you, bro. You did so well, man.
Thank you, man. And guys, if you haven't checked it out, King was the one who also was at the game. We spoke to each other. We spoke to each other a lot throughout the game. He was there. He did his fan cam. Go check it out, people. You know what? I've said it to you. You inspired me to go and do it. After seeing you going up, stepping up, taking a mantle, when a big giant like yourself goes up and does it, it makes it easier for me. But yeah, big up yourself, my brother King. How you feeling anyway?
No, I'm good, man. I'm really good. I'm happy. Arsenal are top of the league, 5 points clear of Man City. There's a drama going on another club. We're going to speak on that as well. Just enjoying life, innit?
We will, man. We will. Although this is the Arsenal show, we can't miss that. It's the elephant in the room. But before we get into that, my brother Wilf is here. Oh, look!
It is Wilf, but King kind of isn't sure that I am who I am. So I just thought, Wilf can't make it today. So that was for you, King. That was for you, man.
That's it. Exactly, man. Love that.
How you doing, boys? How you doing?
That's why you asked me if I could see everything. Now it makes sense. That's a weird question.
Yeah, he was asking. There was a little bit of a pre-match build-up before this live stream. King wasn't here, dropped out, and then Wilf told me about everything, man. So just like Aubameyang, pulled out the mask, but unfortunately he couldn't do it against us, could he? But
yeah, no.
But yeah,
did you hear? He had one tucked away.
Yeah, I did. He did apparently have one tucked away, which would have been interesting, given the fact that, it is what it is. He couldn't pull it out because, he hasn't. He didn't score. But yeah, we're not talking about that game. We won't talk about that one. We can talk about it. Of course we can.
Yeah, because we missed it.
Yeah, because in terms of the structure of this show, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be talking about the game going into it, but then we're also going to do like a mid-season review where we can talk about the overall performances, everything like that there. So yes, for sure, people, make sure you get locked and loaded. But before we do, let's go into the comment section. And those people that are watching live right now, big up yourself, clocking, saying W. I say we are top of the league. We are top of the league. So I say we are top of the league. Big up yourself right there. And then big up yourself, Rich, as well. Big up you, man. The plug right there.
Guys, just so you know, because of Rich contacts at AFTV with we were able to get on the show. So yeah,
exactly. Because of Rich. He's the real celebrity, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he is.
Exactly.
Man, pulling the strings behind the scenes, man.
Yeah, Agent Rich. Yeah, that's what he is. I'm calling him that now. Big up yourself, Ed, who is a Wolves fan. As you can tell with this comment right here, are you going to address the fact that every news outlet is admitting that you lot should have had a player sent off and a penalty? Or we're just going to pretend it never happened? We'd have only lost 2-1 then. Well, yeah, I like that little last line there. The sending off. I don't think, even if it was, I don't think it's a sending off because there is an attempt to go for a ball. He's got he's got right there.
Yeah, this is for you, Ed.
Hey, remember what happened? David Luiz and Willian Jose. That's all I'm gonna say. That was a travesty. What happened there, and it does come back around sometimes. But yeah, I'm sure I'm sure he was
Are you
offside
talking?
as well.
Are you talking the Saliba thing, or are you talking
Yeah, the
Saliba
Saliba
thing?
one. Yeah.
It's a moot point because the kid was offside.
Yeah, because that's what I thought. I
It-
thought he was offside. Yeah.
It once the refs once the
But-
linesman's raise the flag,
Yeah.
it nullifies anything that happens after that because it's a distraction to Saliba.
Yeah.
If he saw the flag, and either way they would have stopped, and the guy would have been flagged offside. So the first incident nullifies everything after that.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah,
Right there.
100%.
B&B in the place. They replied to that and not given a 50-50 challenge, not worth the discussion. We can play. Let's pretend you scored a goal if it helps your XG. Big up yourself there, B&B. Tezzy, mate, in the place saying
Yes, Tezzy.
Tereak,
Yeah,
King,
Desi.
and of course, Wilfred Boney. Big up yourself, Kendall. You know what? Biggest lateness ever. You know what? It's hard rounding up these guys now. They're celebrities of their own now. Do you know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? Look, King's dashing.
Too much melanin in the room.
Dashing
Too much melanin on camera.
You know what I'm saying? King's dashing his phone about. Wilf's in left, right, and centre on different channels. It's hard, man. It's hard fitting these man in his schedule. Hey, speaking of dashing phones, we can talk about a player who's done that as well. We will be talking about him.
Yeah.
I wish there weren't more comments to go through because I could have segued that perfectly then. Yeah, I mean. But yeah, we've got a couple more to go through in here. Wilf, the Manchakushana. If you know, you know. Take exactly. Big up yourself, Kendall, each and every time. I fought for pretend it never happened. Rich
go for it, Tezzy.
Rich saying it was the clear penalty, and Arsenal's training facilities and Emirates Stadium better than Old Trafford and Carrington, etc. Indeed. And yes, that's a perfect segue to start off with the first topic. You know, it's not Arsenal specifically related, but it's the biggest news around football at the moment with Cristiano Ronaldo's interview with Piers Morgan. That's going to be out, but the clips came out yesterday and it was big breaking news all over the tabloids and social media here. And I'll be interested to hear you guys' thoughts because I guess there is some kind of relevance to Arsenal. Like a year ago, we was going through something similar. Yeah. Our star man, our highest paid player was, you know, who was the captain, and Ronaldo's captains. Manchester United literally in their last, prior to this Fulham game, their last Premier League game. So, yeah, we'll start off with you, Wilf, in terms of your thoughts on the whole situation. And yeah, let me know about this Cristiano Ronaldo interview.
I find it I find it hilarious because it's definitely parallel to what we dealt with under Oba. But and when it was Mikel and Oba, Mikel couldn't handle big name players, and you know, he's an inexperienced manager and he's handling this all wrong, and how can you treat him like this and blah blah, and you paid more the money. But because it's Ronaldo and Ten Hag, Ronaldo gets the props and everybody's looking like they're disrespecting. Both managers have handled it the same way. They've handled it. They needed to handle it strong. Otherwise, they lose the dressing room. You lose the dressing room event. It starts to erode things away. And I rate Ten Hag for doing it. I don't rate Man United for the way they treated Ronaldo, but I rate Ten Hag for doing it because the man's got a job to do and he's got to show strength. And that's how a manager should handle it. I mean, I'd be a hypocrite if I said, "Oh, Ten Hag's doing wrong," when I agreed with how Arteta dealt with Oba. Ronaldo's Ronaldo. He's gonna come out with these things. He's gonna do these things because he knows he's not there anymore. He knows he's pretty much gone. Whether it's Christmas or he's gone in the January transfer window. I can't see him staying. There's no future for him in the club. He's not the future of the club. So Ten Hag needs to deal with him as such. There's elements of Ronaldo's behavior that I possibly agree with. And there's elements that I think, bruv, you're out of order. It's a team game. You're letting your compatriots down. I haven't seen the interview. I kind of got the gist of it. But sooner or later it's going to come out. It's not like he's never said anything controversial before. He's never done anything controversial before while he's at a team. So he's got the right in his mind as one of the largest stars on the planet, and it has been for the last 10, 15 years, to do that. You know what I mean? He's in that category to do them things, and it won't dampen his brand. So, and Piers Morgan, of all people, yeah, you know he's gonna jump on that and come out with that. But you know, it's I feel them problem. Nothing to do with we.
Exactly. Well, what about you, King, in terms of your thoughts on this? Because we've actually like spoken in the group chats and then on social media. We kind of see things, we agree with things, but disagree at the same time. But let me know your thoughts now that, you know, kind of the dust is kind of starting to settle a little bit until we obviously get more information.
Yeah, I think one thing that it shows a couple of things that we can't deny. And the fact is that Man United as a club is not functional. And a big club like Man United not having facilities that are up to standards, not having technology that's up to standards, that itself is a disgrace, and that should not happen. Like, you shouldn't leave a club in the early 2000s and come back in 2022 and you haven't upgraded your training facilities, you haven't upgraded your jacuzzis and all the stuff that he did mention. That itself is laughable, and kind of explains why players struggle to thrive and develop and reach their potential, because so many teams have other advantage on Man United because they got more technology, they got better facilities, so players can recover and they can learn faster. So I understand frustration, especially if you are Ronaldo, when you've played for the biggest club in the world in Real Madrid, and probably has one of the best technology facilities and all of that. So when you're used to that standard, used to winning La Liga title, used to winning Ballon d'Ors and Champions League, and you come to a club with the brand name of Man United, with your mentality, of course it has to be very frustrating for the player. We can't ignore that. And on that part, I don't blame him. The only issues I had was the fact that he was going so hard on Ralph and on Eric Ten Hag. I understand there's a bit of a bitterness between him and Rooney. You know, I can't say too much on that because Rooney's spoken about Ronaldo. I don't think he was wrong for what Rooney said, but you do know that Ronaldo doesn't like to criticize him. He doesn't take it well, even if it is constructive. But the fact that, you know, he kind of was trying to belittle Ralph, like he never heard about him. It's like, yeah, but you don't need to have heard about him. If he's your boss, you listen. You're there, you're employed, you're paid to play under his instruction until he's not there anymore. That's your job. Let's not forget, you have a job. You are employed by Man United. Do your job, man. And when it comes to Eric Ten Hag, we know that you don't respect him because he told you to come on the pitch and you refuse to, and that shows that you do not respect him. To already do that and then say it whilst you're employed by them, I find that very disrespectful, and I don't agree on that bit, and that's where I felt like he took it too far. When it comes to the family stuff, I can't really talk about it because we don't have enough information. We don't know how we react. We can just speculate, and I don't really want to speculate on when someone's child has died, how they feel and all of that. But overall, it shows that Man United, they're in a big crisis, and it's going to be interesting to see as a club how they handle it, how Ten Hag reacts, how the player reacts, and if they are going to improve on those things that he's been complaining about. But as an Arsenal fan, it's great to see them having a chaotic period. But what I don't understand is Graham Souness going out and defending him, when I know that if that was Paul Pogba doing that, a whole nother reaction. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
I got a question for you though. Isn't does anything, are you surprised by Ronaldo doing this? Because he obviously thinks he's bigger than any club that he goes to now. And secondly, the fact that he's talking about the training facilities and all that, that's been the problem at Man United for so long, that they've just rested on their laurels and just been a big club and thinking, yeah, just throw money at a bunch of players and everything will come right. And this is the culmination of that, with how they are with the manager and how they are with the team, and they're trying to move, but they're not actually moving anywhere in any positive thing, and they're keeping things the same, but still trying to change it instead of just like clean sweep. Let's get this club sorted.
Is that question to me?
Well, I suppose to both of you, the Ronaldo one, and the Man United.
No, I'm not surprised, because if you remember, like when he left, before he left Man United, he said a lot of controversial things. He said like he felt like they treated him like a slave. Like, let's not forget, whatever we think about Ronaldo as the footballer and his talent and all of that, he has a very special character that I, per se, don't really appreciate. But you know, he said these kind of things before, and he cares about the brand Ronaldo, what's best for him, and whatever. So I'm not surprised. What was also surprising was that he did talk about Man City, and that he was going to join them if it wasn't for Sir Alex. So again, it just shows that I don't think he really cares about Man United that deep. And it's interesting to see when the full interview comes out, what the full context is when we speak about these topics. But I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and that's kind of been what I've been saying a lot in terms of this, because this is where I think, you know, a lot of fans are saying now, you know, this is very self-centered of Ronaldo, etc. And I'm like, but people, this guy's been very self-centered ever since he first came into football. There's one thing that hasn't changed, and that's how he is. So I just think what fans do a lot, and I think when we talk about relating it to Arsenal, we've done it with our own players when they've come and spoke out, and depending on how they're performing on the pitch, it depends on the reaction of the fans, which is, I don't think is quite fair in terms of Ronaldo, because last season he performed under Oli, performed under Ralph, he performed. I mean, we know it. The only reason we lost that game at Old Trafford last season was because of Ronaldo, right? Yeah. In that game, and even they were able to beat Norwich, Ronaldo having to score a hat-trick. They beating Spurs, Ronaldo goes and scores a hat-trick, etc. So I do think that with Ronaldo, I'm understanding it from his side. So this is where I can't wait to listen to the full interview, because about the respect for Ten Hag, which is the one that's, you know, a lot of people are disagreeing with, and those things there. But I remember in the summer, the stories that were coming out was that Ronaldo wants to leave, but he's being forced to stay. But now the narrative is Ronaldo is being forced to leave and he wanted to stay. And there's so much blurred lines in between it all. But the constant that remains the same is the poor ownership, you see. And what happens with his family, this is where I can't wait for the interview. So if he does shed any more light on it, because, you know, he was being... They didn't think he was being honest about his sick child at the time, who did unfortunately pass away. There was doubt surrounding that, and if that's also coming from the manager, no matter what Ten Hag's doing, this is kind of separate. Ten Hag's doing a good job.
Sorry,
yeah, that's all right. No worries. Ten Hag's doing like a good job in terms of overall what's happening at Manchester United, but I can understand if Ronaldo had no respect for him in regards to that, because this is a very personal thing, and we know Ronaldo's very emotional, very passionate about, you know, himself and those things as well. But also, it's a very sensitive topic. So yeah, it's hard to really speculate on that. But that's what I'm waiting to hear about in regards to Ten Hag. But in other things, though, guys, he's not wrong about the club. But once again, it's being blurred once again because he's not performing on the pitch. And this is where I think Man United fans, you've always been on about it on social media, and rightly so, in terms of the ownership, the terrible job that he's done. Ronaldo's publicly using it and coming out, because Ronaldo, I've heard Man United fans also call out for players. You need to stand up and you need to really speak about what's going on at the club. But no, everyone's there just worrying about the paycheck. If Ronaldo was worried about the paycheck, I promise you he wouldn't be saying this now, because I don't think Ronaldo's getting anywhere near not in playing in the Champions League or at the top level, getting the money that he'll get at Man United. If he was to get the same money or more, he's going to have to go to like Saudi Arabia, USA, whatever, and really basically pack it in there. So this is where, and he's also being fined £1 million, and he would have known about this. He's not stupid. He's got very clever people around him, which is why he's been able to make the decisions he has in his career. So I actually think that part of it, that factor, that you should, relate to him, and he's probably got the right to say it more than any other player at that club, in terms of the fans, because of what he's achieved at the club and because of what he even did last season for them. And he was the only player that came out with any real respect. And so, yes, the intricacies, they're talking about Erik ten Hag. I understand that. why that will rile a lot of fans up. But also, you have to look at the bigger picture as well, guys. There's been so many unhappy players at Manchester United. Ronaldo is just one on a very long list. As you mentioned there, Pogba, very unhappy. Martial last season was very unhappy, not getting a game. The treatment by the club. Wayne Rooney was also very unhappy about the ambulance, and that was 10 years ago. So, guys, you got to remember this now. If you're gonna Man United, you're gonna want to have these big players, right? And you're gonna want to have players with ambition. Players with ambition aren't gonna come unless things change. It's that simple. Because look at the precedent that's been set there. Ronaldo. The only reason Ronaldo came back, as you said, Alex Ferguson intervened. And because his heart, he wanted. I know he wanted to go Man City, but Ronaldo, he's not he's not a total mercenary, but he wants to win things. He wants to, and fair play to him. And that Man City is the best place to go and win things at this latter point in your career. So, there's so many things about it. We'll probably talk about it all night, but any last
I
word?
think Ronaldo, when he saw Sancho and Varane and all of that, I think he thought, United's gonna have a good season. Okay, I'll go there. But do you reckon, because he's been there for over a year, do you think that if he was playing week in, week out, do you think he'd do this interview?
I think
if the results were you go.
No, carry on, Wilf, because I think you about to say that.
If the results weren't going, if the results were going the way they're going, he still would, whether he's on the pitch or not. That's Ronaldo. Ronaldo is speaking up regardless. He'd show it on the pitch.
So the reason why I'm asking is because since he's joined there, these issues has been there, and he's not speaking about it. So the facilities was there since he's joined, right? That issue was there. He never spoke about it.
But this is it. Like, that was within his first season back, and once I think he did give the club the opportunity to try and change in that sense. But the club hasn't changed in terms. They've changed management and they've changed certain board members, but no Man United fan I've spoken to is still happy with the decision makers in that club. It's not like what we went through. We had an Unai Emery, a Raul Sanllehi, he was going through the turmoil, dodgy things happening, no real club decisions being made. But then we saw a massive shift from when Arteta walked through that door, and Edu, and so much things changed, whereas that hasn't actually changed like at Man United. And this is where enough's enough. And that's why, because as you said, Ronaldo's come out and he's done similar things to this before, spoken about it. And guess what? He was playing then. He was playing week in, week out, but the results weren't quite going that way. That's why I agree with Wilf in saying he's a serial winner. He don't care about the emotional attachment in that sense. When he's trying to focus is to win. That's what he's looking at. So
but I mean, you also don't know what he was promised when he came, because when he came there, they promised, in a year we're going to get the training facilities done, this, that, and the other, and they haven't moved on from it for whatever reason, rightly or wrongly, or whether they intended to or not. And he's obviously, what was said at the beginning when he came hasn't come to fruition, you know, because remember, Ralph was supposed to be the man that's coming in and doing this and changing the ethos and the culture and all the rest of it. And then he dusts out, you know what I mean, at the end of the season. So, you know, Ronaldo's going to be like, well, I asked you, he's probably gone to the board and said, what are all these promises that you said to me? And they fobbed him off. And he's gone, right, cool, I'm going public.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I think,
and
this could be, I think when Ralph was there, he probably advised the club to sell him. And then when they employed Erik ten Hag, he probably wanted to assess the situation. And then when they came to a place where probably they understood that no one was going to pay for him and they're going to lose a lot of money, probably the Glazers were like, "No, he's staying."
But this is where it's not a football decision then again, is it? Because we had to lose out on a lot of money with how many players? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's the
football was
difference
focused.
between why we could evolve from the Aubameyang situation, because the club was all about taking decisions that was beneficial for us on the pitch rather than
investment.
financial decisions. Because obviously we lost a lot of money on Aubameyang. We didn't get any transfer fee and we had to pay his wages. But they didn't care. And of course, Aubameyang sells shirts as well and bring in a lot of sponsorship money. But they didn't care about that. And I think that's the thing now with Josh, is that it's all about making sure that everything is the right way. And I think that's why they brought in Tim Lewis, their personal kind of lawyer for all their enterprises, so that what happened with Raul is not going to happen again.
Yeah, exactly that there. Yeah, so just to move it on, because we spoke about this for a long while now. But yeah, we got to move on into, because we've got other topics that we need to get through. And of course, we have to talk about our 2-0 win against Wolverhampton Wanderers there at the Molineux. Arsenal, there was pressure going into this game, of course, given a great result that Brentford did for us. This is why we always love Drive, Tony. We have to show that tweet on screen each and every time. Yeah, because he done us a favour there in terms of that, in extending our lead at the top, being 5 points clear at Christmas, which that will mean we'll be top in the new year as well, no matter what happens on Boxing Day. Am I correct in saying that? So yeah, hopefully we can keep that 5 point gap going into then. No, but Wilf, I'll ask you this as well, because as I said, there was pressure going into it. The sickness bug that was going around, which we found out literally 3 minutes into the game with Granit Xhaka, and me and King were there. We're probably there at the stadium, like wondering what's happening. He's hunched over. But yeah, it was all set up for us to drop points. But Arsenal went and marched on. What's your thoughts, my brother?
Well, firstly, I have to say I'm a little lightheaded because the air is thin up here, and I've probably got a nosebleed because we're top of the league. So, but to be honest, I think I've been thinking about this question quite a bit all day. Really, I have been most impressed with games like this when the pressure was on. We haven't played as great as we have. Those are the games that impressed me the most, and this was a professional performance. Yeah, they took the pressure off. They kept playing their game. They didn't chase things unnecessary, thinking, "Oh yeah, we got to get the 3 points. We got to stay top." It was, and even the Xhaka thing, it shows that these brothers are ready to run through fire for Arteta, for Edu, for Josh, for this club, because there's a team down the road that when they was ill, Mandem was crying off and barling, and they're still barling about it now. These brothers just went out there and did the business because they're on a mission, and yesterday's game showed they're on a mission. And people need to start taking that. They take themselves seriously, so people need to start taking them seriously.
Yeah, exactly that. And King, kind of, we spoke about it after the game as well. The maturity levels shown by the youngest squad in the Premier League, right? Let me say that
Say
again.
that again.
Exactly, Wilf. The youngest squad in the Premier League to show that, you know, you're going in away from home against a side that's literally just going to pack out their midfield, pack out the central areas, make themselves difficult to beat. And one thing we can say with Wolves, they don't concede many goals. In a lot in many their issues on the other end, of course, we know that, and as we saw in the game. But you know, if you're in the Premier League, there's never an easy game. Nottingham Forest were bottom of the league and they beat Liverpool, for example, and that was off the back of Liverpool, you know, coming off of some big Champions League victories and whatnot. So, King, what I wanted to ask you is here: are you seeing growth from this side?
100%, 100%. And what's so impressive is the fact that Granit Xhaka is one of the main leaders, one of the main characters. He's probably the captain without the armband. And the fact that he went off and you couldn't see any player getting shook or anything. And we've seen that before with Arsenal, where when someone important either get injured or have to be taken off, it affects the whole mood of the players. And these guys, they were like, okay, Granit is off. We don't care. We're here to win the game. And they just played on. And of course, in first half, you know, Wolves were playing very deep. They played like a 5-3-2 and they had a very low block. But even so, like Jesus could have scored 2 goals. You know, we had that one with offside. If he just waited a bit, he's true. It was a fantastic finish. And then the second one, he hits the bar. Unlucky. Another day that goes in. So it's like, even though at first half the tempo was a bit slower, second half we come up professional. We weren't happy with 0-0. We weren't happy with a point. We wanted to win, and we find ways to win games. That's what's so impressive. Like, we don't have one way of playing football, where it's like, when I watched that Man City game, for example, it was all putting in crosses to Haaland, putting in more crosses to Haaland. It's like, yeah, but that's what Brentford, that's what they want. Like, they are big. They want to defend in the air.
Yeah.
And when that didn't work for them, they didn't have like a plan B or another option, because there is no more Jesus. There is no more Sane with pace. There's no more Sterling with pace. And people don't mention that. All people do is praise Man City, but they've lost a lot of weapons. And now they just have one main weapon up front. And yes, Haaland is fantastic, but when Haaland doesn't get supply, he's not very effective. We've seen it. He has very few touches in every game. But obviously, no one needs to complain about it when you're winning and he's scoring. But when he's not scoring, it's almost like they got 10 players, because he doesn't really press, he doesn't really defend, and he doesn't have the fluidity of the game because of how big he is in stature and the way Guardiola wants to manipulate the ball. So for me, this is where I like this new Arsenal team. It could be Granit, who's a weapon, Odegaard is a weapon, Saka, Martinelli, Jesus. They're all weapons from set pieces. We've got Saliba, Gabriel. They're weapons. So it's like, it looks good so far. I'm impressed by the guys. Really, they've impressed me so much. And the away fans, 10 out of 10. They were singing the whole time. They were so loud, man. It was almost like we were playing at home.
Yeah,
it's interesting. It's interesting. Sorry, it's interesting what King says about Man City losing their weapons. Because what I noticed in that game, that they lost, and the one with Tottenham last season, is they can't really change anything up if they have to chase a game. And you saw it in the Champions League and stuff. When they have to chase a game and the pressure is on, and they do start to panic, it's almost as like, why is this not working? Why this is the weapon that's supposed to, this is the sword that's supposed to kill all dragons, and this one's not dying, and we don't know what to do. And you kind of, it's almost like that thing of Mandis. You keep repeating the same thing time and time again, expecting a different change, and they can't in game. They don't change up that much if they're up against a team like how Brentford play. Like King said, they love the balls crossed in, and they played very narrow. They kind of didn't adjust to that, or I haven't seen them adjust to that when they've been in those kind of situations.
Yeah, it's good points. It is good points. And I think that Haaland being the factor is that because Plan A is done what worked them so well so far. We've seen it in a lot of games. Crystal Palace, that was a perfect game where they were behind. They were 2-0 down, but Plan A was so good then. It worked and he was able to get the supply line. But massive credit for Brentford in stopping that supply, really surrounding Haaland in those moments. And possibly could be a blueprint. It's not going to be easy, not going to happen every week at all because the quality will shine. But it can help in terms of much insides like that to try and work it out. I don't think Brentford were the first ones to do it. I think Fulham need to get some credit. Leicester did an excellent job at doing it there as well. Only got beaten by moments of magic and luck. Fulham and Leicester did.
Aston Villa, they were
Aston Villa, exactly. Once again, so there have been blueprints in terms of what you can do, whereas with us, I don't think that's been the case, and that's what I just wanted to say in my point of view, and adding on to what you guys have said wonderfully is, guys, this is what the importance of. Before I get into my key performance and that, this is what the versatility that we provide in here, right? And what we can do, the options that we can have. And I'm not saying in terms of the options, in terms of numbers. I'm talking about in terms of the versatility of the players and the different areas of the pitch they can occupy and be so comfortable. I think there's one man that typifies that and who has taken us to that next level. I'll get into him shortly. But yeah, in terms of the whole group, the mentality to be able to deal with that pressure and to deal with the expectation, because most people expected. I was in that ground, right? And King, I wonder if you can co-sign it. Being sat around the Wolves fans, they had no hope throughout that game. Even when they was having counter attacks, there was so much anger. Yes, because of how Wolves are performing this season, but because it was inevitable. I was sat there as an Arsenal fan, and genuinely, you see me on these streams. Nervous. You saw me nervous in that 15-minute spell after the Spurs game, doing a watch along when they equalised and they were the better team in that period. I was nervous for them. Second half came, moved it aside. First half against Liverpool, the nerves were there in those moments, etc. Whereas in this game, absolutely not. It felt like a matter of time. It really did, and especially when half time came. We know Arteta's influence, what he can do with a water break, any stoppage in play. He's immense at that, and he doesn't get enough credit for his game management. There was a lot of criticism last season about his game management and those things there. He doesn't really work with a lot of substitutions. I was kind of talking about this with my Man United friends as well, who were talking about Erik ten Hag and questioning some decisions. If you don't have 15, 14, even 13 players that you can trust, you're not going to be pulling out onto the bench and bringing on players just for the sake of it. Managers don't do that. Everything is so calculated. Everything is so measured. And Erik ten Hag is the same, but Mikel Arteta does that. Now he has players that he can trust. We've seen it against Fulham. He brings on Eddie Nketiah, rejigs the whole structure, the formation of the team. He can do that now. Granit Xhaka goes down. He believes in Fabio Vieira. He doesn't just bring him on where we've seen previously, like last season, a player will go down. We know Arteta doesn't really trust this person. Pepe's having to come on. Nuno Tavares, that trust was lost. It was there initially, but was lost through, himself and his performances. Whereas this is different now. He's got a lot of trust and a lot more in more players than he did last, and we've still got more to come back as well. So yeah. But Wilf, whilst we're still on the topic, talk to me about your man of the match and key performers in this game.
Right. Where do I start? I'm as a striker myself, I want to give it to Odegaard, but I'm gonna give it to Gabriel. Because the stick he's been taken from our fans and pundits and it's a great question, by the way, and pundits alike, and everybody saying, he ain't good enough, and he showed his cojones yesterday. he bailed out the whole team yesterday, because on another day we could have lost or drawn that game. He was massive. Bailing out his brother, like you've said, in that partnership. You know what I mean? Because there's times where Saliba's bailed him out and everybody's lauded Saliba. This time you got to laud Gabriel, because he didn't let his partner's mistakes affect him. He was like, my boys slipped. I'm in there to bail him out. So he is definitely my man of the match. And I only because everybody else is giving it to Odegaard, and he scored the 2 goals and he's shutting up people left, right, and center. But I'm giving it to Gabriel. Key players, Jesus, as always. Considering that man is on a goal drought, even though he's what 10 goal contributions this season, plus that's not even including the pre-assists that he's done and just the havoc that he causes when he's in that the opposition's back four. Ramsdale, because those are the kind of games where you have to be so focused throughout the game that there was a couple of chances that came in or things that done, or even just like where he'd sweep up, or where because I saw at one point a couple of times he was calling for the ball as an outlet, like he's an outfield player, and that you can't underestimate that enough, because goalkeepers nowadays ain't just about saves. Trying to think. Benjamin White, as always, is just the guy is just reaching new levels day in, day out. And Arteta, because his game plan, his team talk, how he set them up, what he would have said to them after the Man City defeat. I'm imagining him saying to them, let's just see how far we can go. Forget everybody else. Let's just see how far we can go. And if they have to catch us up, then that's their business. So those are my takeaways from the game.
Interesting right there. King, just before we get to your thoughts on your man of the match and key performers in there, Wilf, he did say he went with Gabriel. He was close with Odegaard, but he went with Gabriel for that one there. But before we get into yours, I just want to answer this one here. And big up yourself, Mr. 200. We will get into this one as well. I've got this question started. We'll definitely talk about that towards the end. So Tezzy is said here, and this is what a lot of fans said. I would have loved to see KT subbed on for Xhaka. Given Zinny the chance in midfield, but can't complain with one. Yeah, and Tezzy, I think you're fair enough in saying that, because I saw a lot of fans say that. I thought when I was at the game that was going to happen. But what I will say, given in hindsight, is we don't need to make that substitution. We don't need to put Zinchenko in them areas, because he's already there in terms of how we play. Even when he plays at left back, he dominates those sort of areas of the pitch, moves into the half space high up. So I can see, and the reason why Arteta's done that, because he wants someone that can also give you that goal threat in terms of a chance creation close to the goal, can do the intricate play in those areas, because I still think Kieran Tierney's still developing in this new system to be playing in those central areas. I think we may, in terms of towards the end, and more of my questions for the panel and you guys is the second half of the season could be a big impact for him if he can show, whereas he's got the mentality to show that development, and if he can show it in his performances, he'll have a big part to play. So yeah, I can see why he went for Fabio Vieira, someone who's a little bit more intricate in those areas where it's going to be tight. Remember, it was so compact in there. With KT, he's someone that is very good at attacking space and whipping crosses into the box. That's the best we've seen in KT. That wasn't one of those games. So I can see why he went for the more intricate option there with Fabio Vieira to work in those tight spaces and in between the lines, as we saw for the first goal. But yeah, King, who was your man of the match and key performers in this game?
I have to give it to Odegaard. But before his second goal, it was actually Gabriel. And I'll start with Gabriel first, and I move on to the captain. I think, and I've said this many times, people criticizes Gabriel too much, and to an extent where people don't even rate him anymore, which for me is crazy. Because
insane.
when you look at the game and you look at the impact he has, and no longer can teams bully us in the center of the pitch, and he's the main reason for that, because his physicality, how good he is in the air, how aggressive he is. He doesn't give centre forwards. When was the last time a centre forward had a good game against Arsenal?
It's true. I'm trying to think. Good
Must have been
question. Mitrovic, yeah, possibly Rashford.
And that was well, Rashford was playing on the wing. Rashford was good when he went to the wing, but he wasn't good when he was in the central of the pitch in that Man United.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like it shows that something has changed, and Gabriel has developed so much this season. I've been onto him before with his passing, and he's improved so much in that area. Like it's amazing. And when you look down to the stats and you do the reading and you analyze the game and you look how he plays, you can see how good he is. Yes, he's had made mistakes this season, but so has Saliba as well. But the energy towards Gabriel is very different from the energy towards Saliba. And I understand he's the new toy, he's like the lost child that everybody just loves and wants to cuddle, and he's that Royce, while Gabriel is like the oldest son who's starting to get a bit old and rusty and doesn't look so cute. So I understand.
Yeah, you set me up right.
I was thinking Toy Story though.
Yeah. I get you.
But there's a reason why we have the best defensive record in the league. There's a reason why we kept more clean sheets than any other team. There's a reason why we got 6 clean sheets away from home. And Gabriel is a very big part of that. So big up to him. It's great to see him picking up to his best form and probably showing Tite that maybe it was a mistake to leave him out from the squad. So big up to him. And then Captain Odegaard, another player who people criticize too much and wants to compare him to James Maddison. Said it many times. They're two very different players who operate on different spaces on the pitch and offers different qualities. I think Odegaard is fantastic. He's so important and integral to the way we play. And when you watch him live, the small details of the way he touches the ball, the way he passed the ball, the pace of the pass, things that he sees that sometimes the angle of the TV won't show you. You see everything and you just realize how important he is. And Arteta's challenged him to score more goals, and he scored more goals than any Arsenal player this season. So
exactly.
All this thing that he doesn't score enough, we need more goals from him. He's our highest scoring player. Give the captain some respect. You can rate someone where you don't have to diss another one. Odegaard is a good player. He's doing fantastic, and he's so young. And we bought him for what, like 30 million, 35?
Yeah, 30, 35.
That's
ridiculous.
If someone wants to buy him now, you have to pay 80 million minimum.
Yeah. Upwards of
and that's what minimum, because he has a long contract. He's our captain. He keeps on developing. He plays in the Premier League. He starts week in, week out. He's up there with the 100 million, 90 million fees if you want to buy him from Arsenal. So big up.
How many of those have we got in our team right now? How many have we got?
Quite a few. Quite a few indeed.
Yeah.
And excellent points from you guys there, man. And
can I just on Tezzy's Zinchenko thing? There wasn't any need in this game because, and sorry, I had no disrespect to Wolves, but there wasn't any challenge in this game for Arteta to bring on KT and to have Zinchenko in the Xhaka role. because we had the game so locked down. It would have been more. It would have made more sense if the team that we were playing against gave us a bigger test, and you might see that later on down the line. Plus, Zinchenko is still coming back from not a serious injury, but a bit of an injury.
Yeah.
So there was no need to put him in a position where it was going to exert him too much. Because he's going to, like you said, he was going to do his thing from where he was anyway. And that would have meant both KT and Zinchenko on the pitch at the same time with a risk of injury, with Tomiyasu out. Yeah, we got the World Cup coming, but there wasn't any need to take that risk.
Yeah. I agree. And the fact that Wolves were playing with a back five, Tierney would not have got those spaces he wants to play in. And I think that it made sense to put Vieira in, and it paid out. So again, it was the right decision by the manager, and big up to him for trusting him.
Yeah, and it's the right game for Vieira as well. It was just in the same way as it was the wrong game to try out the Zinchenko thing. It was a perfect game for Vieira to do his thing, get his get a little momentum going himself.
Yeah, exactly that there. And for me, in my man of the match and key performer, you both have said Gabriel. I definitely agree with you on that.
No, I said Odegaard.
Oh, you went
Odegaard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you went for Odegaard.
Yeah.
You know what? I can't disagree in terms of Odegaard. That's the one I was going to go for as well. Because not just with the goals with Odegaard, I thought the mantelpiece he took from Xhaka going off the pitch and really showing that he's the captain and why he's one of these big leaders in controlling the ball. The fluidity. This happened right in front of you, King. And when he was under pressure, he's got his back to goal. Ruben Neves hounding him down. Yeah. Little drop of the shoulder, the little nutmegs, the quality he has is unreal. Yeah. Moss, this is why I love him, sir. Yeah. This is why because he is such a tremendously gifted footballer. It's unreal. He is improving week by week. And this is like people get it twisted like Moss in terms of when I talk about Odegaard, because I know this guy has a ridiculous ceiling. And if I don't see him performing anywhere near that, to the level I know he can get to, I will say, you know what, I want to see more in Odegaard in these certain situations. And this is a game, right, where we need Odegaard and we need his creativity and we need the way he links up the player and has his one-touch football and he's able to occupy certain spaces. He's so intelligent, and for him, he deserves the man of the match. But there's my Odegaard loving. Gabriel Jesus, which Kendor said here, and many of you guys in the chat, guys, bigging up each and every one of you in the chat. You guys are amazing, by the way, because the intelligence that you guys have on a football level, it's amazing. And I'm honored and I'm blessed to have a community that we're full of each and every one of you guys, because Gabriel Jesus, I was saying this to King at the time when we was talking, we don't score that goal without Gabriel Jesus and without him and his player profile, because the way we had to compete with Wolverhampton Wanderers in this game was overloading the wide areas. They packed out that central area so much. 3 centre-backs, 3 midfielders. Gabriel Jesus, if he tries to occupy them central areas, he's not going to get a kick. And he'll end up being what Haaland was against Brentford, because they played the exact same formation, by the way, and Haaland couldn't get a kick at all, because you're completely outnumbered unless there's a moment of magic from a Kevin De Bruyne, which we don't have. Like a ridiculous ball that you can play on a sixpence in them scenarios. But Gabriel Jesus drifting out wide onto that left side, whereas Martinelli, he drifted from the left to the right, created that overload there. His reverse pass into Fabio Vieira through the gap, the timing of it, the synergy is unreal. Like, guys, I know these things, like, I think these are things that I take for granted when I watch it on TV. Right. These are things that I think we all can do because the high level of football that we are accustomed to nowadays, with football on the TV all the time, with FIFA having unrealistic expectations when you play a PlayStation game and you see those things there. But right in front of me, where there's a crowd of bodies and he's already being pressured by a couple of Wolves players to play that ball, spot the run and time it well, and not time it too late where he's offside. And then Fabio Vieira with a wonderful ball in the back post, and it was either Saka or Odegaard scoring there. But that first goal, and just like many other things, and another thing I want to pick up on Gabriel Jesus is we are the best defense team in the league, as you guys said, and there's a reason why. Pep Guardiola said he's the best defensive forward in the world. The brother's in at left back. Yeah. Making challenges. We see this every week. Bro, if he don't score a goal for the rest of the season but keeps performing like this, I don't care because we win 100%. Games. I do not care. And that's how amazing he is. And that's why I'm absolutely loving it. And Kendall, right there, comparisons between Alexis Sanchez during his days at Arsenal and Jesus. I see where he's coming from because he was everywhere. Whereas it was a bit more chaotic with Sanchez because the team was more chaotic because we weren't as good, we weren't as structured and those things there. But I see exactly where you're coming from, that talismanic mentality, the South American, I don't even know what to say in terms of that just how they fight and grit and grind in every battle and run those channels. And he's a physical specimen for his
scrapper.
Fight. The brother plays like a 6'3" striker.
I know.
In how he pulls the man down. But then he's got the low center of gravity to work. Yeah. I'm honestly, this is one of the best.
Handling, man. He's handling, man, out there. He's bullying. Yeah. I remember when we went to the game, how he bullies people. Yeah. I don't know if it's a Napoleon complex because he's that diminutive, but the brother is he's a menace.
Yeah, exactly. For real, man.
Yes, Saka is a thief.
He did.
And this
just shows, a shift of mentality of Odegaard as well, because he wanted that goal more than Saka, and that's why he scored it. Whereas before, he's just happy to get an assist, and he would have left it to Saka probably. So, big up Odegaard again.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, point. But I agree on Jesus, man. And I keep telling people this, like, it's Arsenal FC. It's not Jesus FC. It doesn't matter how many goals he scores as long as the team is scoring, as long as he's creating opportunities and open up spaces. And that's what matters. Like, we are scoring enough goals to be a title-winning team. We are encouraged to score 90-plus goals. So I don't understand the criticism. Like, we've had great goal scorers like Aubameyang and Van Persie. But the team never scored 80-plus goals.
Yeah.
Exactly that there, my bro. It's so true. Anything else you want to add on Jesus there, Wilf? And letting the doggy have 15 minutes of fame?
Yeah.
I know. Well, he heard you say Jesus and he got all excited, you know what I mean? So,
yeah. So did I.
I just the thing on say Jesus, it will bother me him not scoring only because me and Realist got a little better. But other than that, I don't care. But I just think it's the fact that that so many pundits and everybody else are focused on him not scoring goals is detracting from his overall gameplay from start to finish, to the point where you notice when he's not on the pitch. You know what I mean? We're in the Europa League games, in the other games where he's come off, and people are going, "Oh, there's a drop off." It's because his level is so high, you're going to notice the drop off. He's like Partey in that category, where if Partey doesn't perform to his highest level, or you notice it, it's glaring. It's like somebody got a big black eye. You notice that, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, exactly. I think the biggest evidence is Eddie Nketiah. He's not playing, and when he's playing on the wing because Jesus is so important for us. That's the truth, because we know that Arteta rates Eddie, and we know that he's trusted in him playing central before, but because of everything that Jesus gives to us, he's not getting that opportunity. And
Absolutely. 100% spot on, lads. Spot on once again. And now it's time. We've spoken about the Arsenal versus Wolves game. This is where, for the last half an hour of the show, we're going to give you a treat in terms of still talking about Arsenal. But we're going to be talking about the season overall. And in terms of this, when we talk about these players, I'm going to do like a player ratings, and I want each and every one of you watching live to get involved and let us know your thoughts in the comments. But before we do get into that, I have to get into this question here that Mr. 200 put in regards to when we play City, will we change our system to stop them, or will we let them worry about us? Just in the chat, so not sure. Yeah, no, we haven't covered this. This is a fantastic question. And if it weren't for you, I don't think I would have covered it. And right, my first thoughts on this, I don't think we're changing nothing, because the reason why I have strong faith in that Mr. 200. Last season, when we weren't anywhere near as good, we didn't change a single thing. Like, we were playing at a ridiculous intensity. We showed no fear at all. Martinelli was roasting Cancelo in those moments there. Saka, Tierney, we was overloading them, attacking them. And I think we'll play like that at their stadium as well. I think when we go in the lead and those things, of course, you've seen a little bit of a, we can try and kill you by 1,000 passes. And that's what Arteta wants. That's the ideology that he sees in terms of us playing football. So, yeah, I don't think we'll make a change at all. Do any of you disagree?
I do.
What do you think?
I do. I think we will make a slight defensive change, because I think Arteta is astute enough to understand what's happening to nullify Haaland, and we will make a slight adjustment to cut off the supply to him. Other than that, I don't think we're changing. We're going to go at them attacking wise. We're going to go at them like any other team that we've gone at. Because he knows the vulnerabilities. And you pointed out, I think you both pointed out about Man City's vulnerabilities at the back. We will go after them. It will be a slugfest. It will be who's got the strongest chin. I love my boxing analogies. That game will be who's got the strongest chin. And I think Man City will make more changes for us, because that's Pep's
overthinking
modus operandi. He knows Arteta. He knows what Arteta is capable of. He respects and fears him. So I think he will, like you've seen in the Champions League game against Chelsea, he'll make some mad change, and that's what will affect the game. The only change I see is us looking to stop Haaland's supply.
What would you say to that, King?
I think I'm more where you are, where the way we play football and the way we attack, I think that's the best form of defense against City, because I've said it many times, I don't really rate City's defensive structure right now. I think they miss a prime Kyle Walker a lot, because the thing with Kyle Walker is that whenever someone made a mistake in that City defense, because of his physicality, because of his recovery pace, he used to be able to bail them out many times. And they don't have that. And they don't have anyone in that team who has similar abilities like Kyle Walker. So that's why I was so sad that we couldn't play them, because I do think it was the perfect time for us to play them. And I'm
Another
not
reason
sure.
why Kyle Walker's underrated.
Exactly.
No,
me and Will have been fighting Kyle Walker's corner.
Yeah.
So,
no,
I-
but King's just highlighted another reason why he's so underrated. Yeah.
Carry on, bro.
For me, I know that he played for Spurs, but he's a fantastic right back, and I think we've come to an era where people just want to highlight people's weaknesses instead of looking what they bring to the team. Like, you don't stay in that Man City team winning all them titles year in, year out if you're not world class. Come on, it's not possible.
So true. So true, King. Hey, King, you're preaching to the choir here. And guys,
exactly.
you better believe if you're watching me. Exactly. So true. Kyle Walker is massive and so important to this team. And yeah, because they play with that ridiculously high line. And these centre backs aren't the most even they're not even the most. Yeah, exactly. John
They're not
Stone.
that mobile.
No. They're positionally, it's positionally and in the brain footballers. That's what they are. So they position themselves that if this happens, then he's got to go around the world to get to there. But with Kyle Walker, he's got that plus the pace and the defensive minerals to handle.
That's why Pep wanted Reece James, but now it's impossible for him to get him.
Yeah,
but he saw Reece James as Walker's replacement.
There you go, right there. There you go. Indeed. Let's see what you're saying in the chat in regards to this one. Let them worry. We should have beaten them last year. Yeah, exactly that. I remember watching that. That one hurt. That was one of the hurt. The most.
But it's not a great feeling going into these games and not being afraid, where you are more excited to see what are we gonna do rather than I don't want to play City. It's another 3-0 thing.
That's the difference between us when we was, let's say 2007, 2008, where we had a really good start to the season then, and we was top at Christmas. The last time was top at Christmas. In fact, we always had that fear of, what we're going to do in these certain games against top sides. Are we going to turn up? Are we going to do this? We know the base level of this team now. Yeah, whether we win or lose, whatever, we know what level of performance we're going to get. And we know as long as we got our key players in there, we're sorted and we're going to cause trouble. Play out on that day right there. But big up Avik in the place right there. You know what? What a legend you are. Top comment on that AFTV fan cam. And you know what? You're an absolute legend. Thank you for the love and support you've shown. And he's saying right here, big up Tereak and the panel. Loved your AFTV interview versus Wolves. Subscribe to the channel. Solid football talk. Really appreciate you right here, Avik. Thank you so much, and thank you for the support that you show as well. And yeah,
that was a very good interview, by the way, Tereak.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, man. Hey, and I hope, Avik, we can get you on the channel one day, man. Definitely. Or go. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Which way? Let me know, Avik. But yeah, hopefully we can get you on the channel and talk Arsenal as well. And more than welcome to have the platform here. And really appreciate you once again. So yes, let's go over to these player ratings. Okay, so with certain players, we're not going to spend too much time on because we spent a lot of time talking about them already. Mainly talking about the big discussion points and anything like that. But we got to start off. I've got it in number order, by the way, so it's a little bit different. So it's a little bit more unexpected in here, but we have to start off with Aaron Ramsdale. We're going to so guys in the chat as well, you get your ratings. I'll bring the names up. You chuck a number in. We'll try and agree together so we can have one rating each.
That ain't happening.
We're going to do it. All right.
No, that ain't happening.
We're not doing 0.5s as well. Okay. No 0.5s. Just straight solids. Aaron Ramsdale. If I was to shout first, I would say 7.
8 for me.
Sure we can't have 0.5s? No, you know what?
If you say 8, I'm happy to go 8.
No, go 8. Because I want to give him a 9 because no, he didn't have fantastic saves to make and stuff. But later what he did in the game, the shithousery that he had with the fans, keeping everybody on his toes. When Zinni made that mistake, he berated him. Yeah. It is. Are we doing just the season?
No, just the season. Yeah.
Or the game. He's a 9 for me. He's a 9 for me because what the assurance that he's brought to this team, the confidence that our back four has in him. It's the kind that Graham's team had under I forgot his name.
Yeah,
Now.
Adams,
David
Key or-
Seaman. Seaman.
David Seaman.
And Jens Lehmann. Yeah, he's a 9 for me.
And you said, what was your reason for an 8, King? Anything else you want to add on Ramsdale?
I think at the beginning of the season, he had a few shaky moments. I think he wasn't up to speed yet. I think that hip injury affected him more than people understand, because with goalkeepers, for them to get power to go down, they have to use the hips. So if you have an injury there, it's not going to have an impact on you. But there's no doubt that if you have a title-winning defense, it starts with the goalkeeper. And Ramsdale is fantastic. And his distribution this year has been even better. Some of the passes, some of the goals that we've scored comes from him. And overall, his mentality, his passion, I got to give it to him. And the reason why I give him 8, because I know I rate him that high that I know he got 1 or 2 more levels into him. So I'm going to give him an 8 for that.
I'll go with the 8 because he just convinced me that because of that space to go.
Yeah, exactly that there. In terms of Tierney, interesting. We'll start with you with this one, King, again.
I give Tierney a 7, not because I think he's been bad, but I don't think he's played enough games to go to the Ramsdales, the 8s and 9s and 10s. And we have a lot of potential there locked down in Tierney. And the mentality he has, we've seen him have bad games and come back putting in man of the match performances. That's what I rate with Tierney. He's a fighter. You won't see him drop his head and become toxic or have a negative impact on the dressing room. No. He's there. He's happy, and he's going to take the challenge. And I think in the second half of the season, he's going to want to prove himself.
Yeah, I'm happy to go with the 7 as well, because I think his performances in the Europa League has given us stability. And at left back, I thought he was obviously the man of the match against Zurich. Thought he was very good in both games against Zurich, actually, in those, and he was playing a lot more centrally there. So yeah, I think he's developing, he's learning. I'm happy to go for a 7, and I expect a big impact in the second half of the season. What about you, Wilf?
I'd love to give him an 8, and I'll tell you why, but I'm going to give him a 7. Because with all the adversity he's followed and he's had to come through, with people saying, he's finished and should we sell him and this, that, and the other, and learning a new role, learning a new position, or how to play the position in a different way, and he's stepping up to that now, and he's put himself back into contention for like the argument for that left back spot. You know what I mean? When it comes down to picking a team sheet, it's like him or Zinchenko, who are we playing? And that would push him to an 8, but I've got to give him space to move because I think he's going to improve. So I'll go with a 7 as well.
There you go, right there. The next player, sorry. Before we get into that, actually, let's see what you said. 6 B&B, not played enough football for anything higher. I think you'll see in terms of my reflection why I can't go lower than a 6. Because, one, we've had our best start to the season ever. And 2, because I think he has had a big impact in those Europa League games. And I'm going to give, I don't think I can knock Tierney down by someone else's great levels and performances that they've shown, if you know what I mean. I don't think he's been bad in any of the Premier League games he's played in that sense. So yeah, I hear what you're saying. I hear your point in terms of he's not played enough football. But this guy, I'm sorry, no one can say anything less than a 10. I'm sorry, all right? Because has there been a bad game from Ben White this season so far?
Yeah, it was shocking against Palace, man. Saliba covering.
Don't say he's after you now.
10.5. Love him.
Honestly, you can't go any. King, tell me I'm wrong. I beg, because
no. You're spot on, and the reason why you're spot on is that people were trying to tell me that Ben White couldn't play right back, that he's a centre back, that he's not good enough, he doesn't overlap. And I'm
He's
like,
done everything.
do you even watch him play, or have you already decided that he can't do it? Because it's been fantastic from the first game. Like, he was literally probably one of our best players against Crystal Palace. Have you seen
Yeah.
Saha this season? Have you seen how influential he's
Yeah,
been
exactly.
for what did he do in that game? He did nothing. And it's like, people just don't respect Ben White. And I love him. And one thing that I've noticed as well, he has a shithousery mentality as
Oh,
well.
yeah, he
Like,
loves
he
that.
do cheeky stuff and then he laugh at the ref and they don't give him a
Yeah.
yellow card. It's like, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, what game
Nah,
was it? What game was it? He recently where he grappled up a man and then laughed with him. Oh, was it
yeah, I think it was Chelsea.
Mount Chelsea.
Chelsea? Yeah,
Mount,
that's
right.
the one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
He knows exactly. You're right. You are right. And in terms of that, I'm added on what you said, Wilf. You know, when we're talking about Kieran Tierney and we're kind of giving him like a little, patience to learn. Brother, man, this brother's not had no time to learn, but this is why he's so amazing, right? Because he just picks it up like that. Different systems. 1 week he's playing a lot more reserve. The next week he's being progressive, especially with Zinchenko's injury. Like, he can do the overlap, he can do the inside. I'm sorry, 10. B&B, where are you?
Trying to say that
11.
Because of Ben White, Saka is not playing well. Well, that died quite fast as well.
Do you remember? Yes, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you remember that, Wilf? People saying that rubbish.
Yeah, but he epitomizes this Arsenal team in the fact that every test that they've leveled at him, every he can't do this, he can't do that. He's gone, yeah, really? Watch this. Hold that. And that is he has typified us. Quite realist. He typifies what we're about now.
For real. Perfect so far from Ben White. If he can keep this level up, I mean, we'll talk about this later. Thomas Partey, right? I think this one's interesting because I'd say, Wilf, I'll let you go first on this one.
Partey,
yeah.
You know what? Only because I'm reserving the 10s for Ben White and immaculate. He's got to get a 9. He's got to get a 9. We're not where we are without him.
Mm-hmm.
How many players in the Premier League at this moment in time or across Europe can dominate a defensive position like he does on his own? I said it before. If he ain't there, what is, you see it's a cliff that we drop off when he's not there. So the brothers are 9, and he's that steel in the spine that we've been missing for ages. And he's just so calm, assured. His passing is just languid, and he almost doesn't look like he's trying sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got the steal when he did it in the last game where he just bounce a man and take the ball, and he's in tight spaces in front of our 18-yard box, and he's like, okay, should I go to him? He's doing quarterback stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So 9 for me.
And King, you said it as well, and I'm agreeing with you. Best in the leagues this season so far. Talk.
Listen, for me, I've said it for time now. I think Thomas Partey is world class. I think the level of football that he's playing at, you can't play at that level consistently week in, week out if you're not a world class player. And the fact that when we talk about the best DMs the best DMs in the world is probably in Premier League in terms of Rodri, Casemiro, and
definitely.
And Partey is there. Like, you can't talk with these players and be like, nah, Partey is not in that conversation. He's there. And for me, this season, you know me, I'm a big Rodri fan. I love Rodri, man. And I think last season he was the best player in the league. For me, this season, Partey's been the best DM in the league. And
Definitely.
The way he controls football, like sometimes I just sit back and I just watch him, and he reminds me so much of Gilberto Silva in the fact that they read the game so well, both when they need to defend, so they know when to put in a tackle and not get a foul. I think that's not spoken enough about with Partey. He wins the ball so many times and he doesn't cause a foul where we can go direct into transition. Gilberto was the expert of that. His passing ability is just amazing. Like, he can ping a ball everywhere, and he's so brave on the ball. And the reason why Granit and Odegaard can bomb forward and doesn't have to drop deep anymore, Odegaard, is because Partey is handling that now. He's breaking those lines with his passing. He's being more brave. And it's just that, and he's adding goals as well to his game. So he's not pinging them outside the stadium. So he just shows that he's improving as well as player.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet the pigeons are happy now. But
exactly. But the thing is, people know now that they, you know, like with City, they have to stop Haaland and De Bruyne. Partey is in that category now. If you want to beat us, you need to stop Partey.
100%. Like,
and Jesus.
He is he's one, I would say he's probably, it's between him and Jesus who's our most important player in this team. And the reason why I say this is that because if Saliba is not playing, you can play Ben White there, and the drop of quality is not that high, and you can play Tomiyasu at right back. But if Partey is out, the way we play this season is very different from last season. And if Sambi or El Neni is playing that role, it's not going to be the same. That's just the reality. It's not going to be the same.
Exactly. So, what rating are you saying? Will's gone with a 9. I'm happy to agree with a 9, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll give him a 9 because I know that at the end of the season, if he keeps on putting on those performances and win us silverware, that's when the 10 comes. But 9 now.
And he's staying fit.
B&B, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. A 9. I'm giving him credit for that because an 8
looks stronger. Don't you think he looks stronger now?
Yeah.
I think this is that thing of having gotten used to the physicality of the Premier League. I know people. It's something that gets lauded about, but there is. I've heard players say it that have played. Come and gone to the Premier League. It takes a while for your body to adjust.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and playing that much football and getting stronger.
Exactly. It's the mental factor, isn't it, guys? It's always he's confident in his body now. That's why we're seeing a new level. Just quickly, because we spoke about him a lot, given the fact he's man of the match. What are you rating, Gabriel? What?
Want to go longer?
I understand, man. I understand. Hey, I'm telling you, man. Keep supporting the channel. We will be able to go as long as we want.
That's the thing, man. Make sure you support. So
keep supporting.
Exactly.
You get streams every day.
Exactly. Well, we'll be streaming every day. Exactly. We'll be able to talk about Gabriel for a whole day. But because we speak. The reason I say we also got to go quickly on him is because we speak about him every week because we're like we're GDL Gabriel Defense League right here, like serious. Like, he gets way too much criticism, especially for like I'm having to do this all the time, man. Like people talking about him, like he's got this in him, he's got a ricket in him. I'm like, it's because the way he plays.
Who hasn't?
We need to get rid of him.
Do you know what I mean? Saliba literally has the exact same.
Going back to the man that we talked about, how many sitters have you seen Ronaldo miss this season? And I've seen him miss at least 3. You know what I mean? So
I'm giving him an 8. I am.
Yeah, I was just about to say solid 8.
And if he continues, it's gonna be a 9. So continue.
Yeah, because in recent weeks he hasn't had any mistakes. He hasn't had, the Liverpool or the Tottenham moment. So he's been better. I think he's been better in recent weeks overall.
I still don't blame him for the Tottenham goal, by the way.
No, I don't either. But the penalty, I didn't blame him for that one. But he's given away the penalty. But he's not the main man at fault for that one. But best defense in the league. You can't give him any love on that.
Yeah.
Bukayo Saka, Right. We haven't really spoke about him today. This brother.
Mentality monster. I just have to say that. Saka is so brave.
Yeah, exactly, man. And this is where, Man United fans, those of you who are still watching, you've got your youngsters gone on, scored a last minute winner, etc. You need him to be like Saka personally, though, because brother, Saka's doing unprecedented things. He's up there with the Cesc, Wayne Rooney's, etc. for under 21 records and stats. This brother, I'm going with a. Do you know what? I'm gonna go with an 8. And the reason I say that, the reason I don't go for a 9, is because this guy's gonna score more goals. He's gonna get.
He's gonna
He's gonna do it, people, and. Because you know what, the reason, or I would have gave him a 9 or so. We had those chances at the beginning of the season where he wasn't as clinical, but now he's getting there. Trust me, 8 for Saka. What are you, man, saying? Agreeing with an 8?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And the thing, what I've loved about him is that he's gone under the radar, because each and every game he's had minimum 2 man on him. I've watched it. Every time he gets that ball in the corner, you'll see some man rush over to help out the left back. And that is ultimate respect. And he's still coming up with assists, coming up with goals, after being double and triple teamed. So, yeah, solid 8.
Perfect.
Do you know what's nice with Saka as well is that he got different gears in his game. So sometimes he's just going to drag in defenders and use his strength and body. And sometimes he's just going to attack you. Sometimes he's going to go for a shot. Sometimes he's going to do a 1-2 with Odegaard or Ben White. Or sometimes he go around you. So it's so hard for people to play against him. And that's why we have so many different threats. And it's just big up to Arteta, who's added this to his game. Yeah. People keep on saying, who has he improved? I can give you a list.
Exactly that. And another one is improved under Arteta. Once again, we spoke about him a lot today, so we'll give him.
I think even the tea ladies improved under Arteta, man.
It's true. And Odegaard is certainly one of them. I'm giving him. What are you, man, saying? I'm saying. Do you know what? Before Fingy's game, I would have said 8, but you got to go 9. He's top goal scorer. He's improving.
Yeah. And first season as captain.
True. Yeah, true. You know what I mean? And first season as captain, and what has he done? And we top of the league. That has to give something extra.
Yeah. And he's top goal scorer. You know what
I
mean?
Top goal scorer, top of the
league. Obviously, him and Beth Mead have obviously had a chat and a bet and saying what's going down. But you got to give him a 9. You got to give him a 9. Yeah. So, because you think about it, you're giving the captaincy. How old is he again? 20, 21?
23.
23. Yeah. So he's he's been given the captaincy at Arsenal. With all the man that's there, your Jesus and your parties and all them man there. He's been under pressure. People have been saying how he ain't good enough and he ain't stepping up in games and all the rest of it. He's top goal scorer. He's got equal or near equal the same amount of assists.
Yeah.
9, man.
Yeah. 9. And he always put one thing you can never fault Odegaard. He always put in the shift. He always works hard.
I never criticize him for that. It's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good point, my bro. Spot on. Because that's one thing I always give him credit for is those things there and what he does. Future number 7, Garnation, right there. Big up yourself, Kendall, man. Really say happy about that, though. Oh, man. Big up yourself, Bobby K, in the place. Hope you're keeping well.
Big up, Bobby K. I saw your comment on AFTV for Tereak. It was wonderful, man. Big up.
Oh, really appreciate it, man. And Bobby K, my brother, really appreciate you. And you know what? It's unfortunate Spurs have had their best start to the season ever. But,
and it gets tainted. It gets tainted.
Mind it.
Yeah.
Hey, we love you over here, Bobby. You know we do love you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd put one for you as well, King. Jeez.
Yay!
What a man. What a man. And we'll move on into 9 for Odegaard. Once again, another one we've spoken about. So 8, I'm saying. Jesus, what are you, man, saying?
I have to give him a 9.
9. He's transformed
Like,
our team and taken
I
us
think
to...
this year, if I'm honest here, if there was no criticism from the media and you never listened to them and we were just in our bubble, it would be a clear 9. And I've said it so many times. It's Arsenal FC.
Yeah.
Like last season, yeah, we scored 61 goals. I think we've scored like 34, 35 goals already. And we're not even
34,
close to half of the season. We still got 5 more games. We are averaging 2.5 goals per game. And that would put us on score to score around 95 goals a season. And that's down to this guy. And everything when it comes to mentality, when you listen to the players, when you listen to Saka, Martinelli, what he's added to the team outside of the pitch, like you can't measure how much that means. And we say every time the mentality of the players has changed. He's a main factor for that. So for everything that he brings to us on the pitch and off the pitch, I have to give him a 9, man.
Yeah, from the moment he walked into the club.
Because I'm sure if he would have scored 3-4 more goals, you would have given him a 10.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Nah, I'm telling you, man. The reason why I'm saying 8, man. There's a reason why you, man, said 20 goals and 17. Because he's a streaky goal scorer. The levels he was doing at the start of the season, like there's no performance change from when he was scoring goals. That's what I'm saying. Like this is where I'm not with the media. I'm not with them. You know what? Jesus. He's not scoring enough. No, that's what the performance levels haven't changed. But when he puts that ball in the back of the net, I promise you, you man are saying
he's gonna get 3-4 goal in one game and them kind of thing. Madness.
He did it exactly. He did it last season. I remember against Watford, he slapped 4 goals in one game. He gets 3 assists in one game. The level, like the performances won't actually change, but he'll get the goals with it. Like against, for example, against Southampton, if he slots one in, we've lost one game this season. Do you know what I mean? He had the chances in that one, and in those sort of games, like let's say when we are going to go through another busy period, we are going to need him to score that goal because it will get intense. You know, when we're in the knockout stages of the Europa League, he's going to be playing.
And he will.
Goals.
And I think he will.
And I've got confidence that he will. And that's what I'm saying. And that's why.
But you also got to remember, I think people don't take into account, you know how Haaland has come into Man City. Sorry to bring him up again, but you know how he's coming to Man City and everybody's like, oh boy, teams are like, we got to look out for Haaland. We got to look. The same effect has happened with Jesus.
Of course.
Because you remember, because he's not getting goals because he ain't trying or he ain't getting in the spaces. They are so teams are so concentrated on him, stopping him scoring or stopping him doing what he does. It's harder because it's not like you know when even an Ivan Toney, when he gets there, the 2 centre backs are looking to just deal with him. With man like Haaland and Jesus, it's the whole back 4. It's the someone from midfield needs to drop in to try and handle him, to control him, to stop him getting them chances, because you've seen it's taken a brilliant save by a keeper, or you know he's gone through 3 man and man is on the ground trying to dive in and block him, and they're making so much effort to stop him from scoring that it's like I said, that's affecting his goal scoring as well.
I do hear that. And
to be a striker that he scores them hard goals easier than he scores them easy goals.
Yes,
exactly. And what I'll just add, and this is why I don't think it is close to perfection as well. It's not because of his performances. Once again, the only 2 games I'd say where his performance level dipped Leeds away and the Southampton one in the second half when we needed him. That's the only two. Like, whereas that's where I'm saying, like, in terms of, you know, the 10s and 9s. This is just me.
Yeah.
That's just what I know the levels
But
these man can
you
get.
love pouring cold water anyway, so.
Nah, man. I'm building him up, Penny. I'm giving him even more scope to go for it. So yeah.
But I think where Tereak is that I think because the potential of Jesus is so great, and if he just had more goals, he would keep giving.
If he gets more, then we're talking about him best striker in the league, man.
Yeah,
like
I may be old, but it's Tereak that's jaded. You know what I mean? It's Tereak that's
jaded. Hey, I need someone I'm willing to give a 9. And that's Martinelli, because not just because of, you know, like I'm saying when I say he's a 9, I don't think he's actually been better than Jesus.
No,
I just think the jump that he's had, he deserves a massive round of applause.
Yeah.
So for that, the level he's been taking, Wilf, talk to me.
What was the narrative all last season? We ain't playing him enough. He ain't doing enough. He needs to step up. He needs to do this and do that. What more can you do than bust into that Brazil side? Yeah. You know what I mean? Because Brazil got no allegiance to Arsenal whatsoever. You know what I mean?
No.
His performances alone has busted him into that Brazil side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That says it all when you know that they left him out because they knew he was going to go in. They left him out the last squad because they knew that he was in for the World Cup.
Yeah,
the brother has just lifted his level. He's not just gone to the next level; he's gone to the one bit above that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because when you think about what he did last season, everybody's saying, "Oh, he's blinding," and Klopp's talking about him and all the rest of it. Look where he is now. He's giving right sided right backs and right sided central defenders nightmare.
Yeah.
They're waking up cold sweat and the wife is going, "What's wrong, darling? What's wrong?" And he's like, you know, look at the run that he made for it was for the goal when he ran across the pitch, just dealing with 4 man, taking out 4 man.
Yeah. Exactly. That, anything you want to add on that, King, in terms of?
Yeah, one thing that I just want to add is that one thing that I love about Martinelli this season that criticizes him before is that he's now putting his head up and he doesn't just play on 1 year. As before, it was just 110%, put his head down and just run at defenders. Whereas now his passing abilities, his dribbling abilities, his ability to find spaces and see where others are is so much better. And we saw that against where he had a very important role in both goals. As you said, in the first goal, I think he dribbled past like 3 or 4 players in the center of the pitch and gave it to Odegaard. And in the second goal, he mistouched the ball, but he keeps on pressing the defender, wins it back, and then I think he makes a nutmeg to Zinchenko.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah. So 8.
8 right there for Martinelli. What we saying? Oh, I've gone with a 9. I mean, you're gonna.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah.
Come on.
Now I keep my 8 because I know by the end of the season it's gonna turn to a 9.
But the reason why I say 9, do you know what? With his goals as well, King. The goals he scored have been so important. They've not been, look all, 5s or he scored against what? Liverpool.
Okay. We're top of the league. This is fine.
I think he's going to go to a 10 by the end of the season. Yeah. I really do.
You can do.
Especially if he has if Brazil do well in a World Cup. How much is he going to be flying? He's just realized a dream of him and his dad's to be in that Brazil team.
Exactly.
And do you know why I have to give him a 9 as well? His comments about Arsenal. This boy is class.
Yeah, for sure, man. Before we get into Saliba, actually, we can do Saliba quickly and then we get into these 2 things in the comments. I think we have to settle on a 9 once again because we spoke about him a lot as well. So we've talked about how brilliant he is. We know how wonderful he is. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of. I feel like I'm doing it an injustice because just sheer amount of time that we have. But yeah, we spoke about this guy a lot, and Arsenal fans were more than delighted with Saliba. Would you guys agree with the 9?
100%, 100%. When you consider that he's coming, this is his first season in the hardest league in the world. He's 21 years old. He's again like Martinelli. He's in that France team, and the reason why he's a 9 is because he's made mistakes that would cause other centre backs to setbacks. You know what I mean? Own goal, couple. The game that he had, he's never let it bother him. Both him and Gabriel, he's never let it bother him, and he's just moved on and gone. You know what? It's gone. And he's learned. You can see him learning, literally learning game by game, and being that elite already. Yeah, he's got to get a 9. He's going to get to a 10 by the end of the season.
Exactly.
Saliba, he came in 21 years old.
Yeah,
we have kept 7 clean sheets. He scored 2 goals, 1 assist. He's had a couple of man of the match performances, and you can just see how important he is for this team. And like, it's crazy. Like, we're talking about centre back that's probably the best centre back in the league, and this is his first season. He's never played with any of these guys before, none of them.
Yeah,
and to play
He's
at
21.
that level at 21 years old with the expectation and pressure that was already on him and the hype.
Exactly.
North London derby, Liverpool, yeah,
exactly that. So before we move on into our next one, are any of you going to the North London derby in January? I wish.
I'm gonna try.
I wish.
It's so hard to get to.
Yeah.
Especially now
I've got
when
a little.
Arsenal are playing so well, everyone wants tickets.
Yeah. I'll try.
I've got a little secret something using another one of my aliases, but I'll go into that.
See, I told you, man, he's a celebrity. That's why he's late now to shows. You know what I mean? So
they call his ties 419.
Exactly that here. Big up yourself, my brother Luke. We have to answer this question in terms of this here. So yeah, should we sign a more prolific goal scorer to compete with Jesus? I'm sure Jesus wants to be more prolific, but he's never really proved he can be so. At 25, isn't he as good? Well, isn't he as good as he is going to be?
No.
I would say in terms of that, like Luke, I think with the added responsibility, he can definitely score way more goals than he did at Manchester City. In terms of that, and in terms of being a prolific goal scorer, he's not that, and I don't think he will be that.
I don't think he ever was.
Yeah. And I don't
can
think
I say this though?
Yeah.
With centre forward and their goal scoring ability, that usually comes with age. So if you look at Giroud, when he just joined us, he was very good at link up and hold up, but he didn't score much goals. That was something that he had to develop. Didier Drogba, when he was at Marseille, he was fantastic. But he joined Chelsea at 26. He became a goal scorer near his 30s. Jamie Vardy is another one. Like usually, Karim Benzema. I keep on talking about
Henry.
him. Before, he was a fantastic footballer for Real Madrid, but he was never a great goal scorer. That's something that comes with age.
Yeah.
So I think it's still early days to say that Jesus can't be, because the reason is he gets to the opportunities. So what he needs to improve on is his finishing, and that's something that he can do.
That's where I'll agree with you in terms of when you brought in Karim Benzema. Good point, because when I saw a statistic going online about most chances missed is Jesus. I'm like, Robert Lewandowski, Karim Benzema, also in that list, and they're two of the best strikers in the world right now. And Karim Benzema, a lot like Jesus in terms of everything he does in terms of his link-up play. And it took a while for Karim Benzema to get the amount of goals he has. So what I would say is, in terms of his career, like he will have at least 2 seasons, I'd say, where he's hitting ridiculous heights in terms of number of goals. Because as you said, he's getting those chances. And once he hits them numbers, then people will look at him completely different. So I think that's a good point.
Yeah, I don't think the only way we bring in it. Yeah, go on, King.
what I would say is that if we can get someone like who can play on the wing and in central, I wouldn't turn that down. So if we can get someone like a Trassard or Zaha or Ferran Torres, I don't mind because they can play centrally.
Yeah, like that. That's what I would say. Like B&B, like a forward, but like a wide forward or something.
Yeah. I mean, I going back to Bobby's question, I don't think we bring in a prolific striker unless there's one on our radar, and I don't think there is. So gone are the days where we go, oh, we need a striker here. They would have thought long term. They know who they're going after in general, and I think they're going for a wide forward. I don't think. I know. I mean, when you think of prolific strikers, you're talking about someone like Haaland. I don't think a striker like that fits into this team. The way we play, because the goals are so spread around. There's so many different threats. Which is the reason why we can have an Jesus that isn't scoring prolifically, because everything else kind of adjusts to that. You know what I mean? Saka's going to score goals. Martin Odegaard's going to score goals. Odegaard's going to score goals. Xhaka's going to score goals. You know, because the goals are coming from everywhere else, it takes the pressure off, and he can do what he does. So I don't think we go for a prolific out-and-out striker.
JC says here, the scoring will come. Quit panicking. We are top of the league. The lads are doing well. AFC is reinventing the game. Thank you, Arsene Wenger. Forever, indeed. And I agree with that there. Like, I ain't complaining.
Neither.
JC, check out what we was talking about with Jesus. We love him. We're going to rattle through a lot of these ones now in case of time. So we've gone through most of the first teamers. We still got a couple first teamers towards the end in terms of that there. So Nketiah, I'm saying, and you might think this is quite harsh, Wilf, I'm going 5. I expected more. I expected more in those Europa League games. Not in the Premier League and that. Like, I didn't expect him to get many more minutes, but in those Europa League games, I know we qualified top of the group, etc. But I wanted to see it. I wanted to see what he did against Brighton in those games. What was your thoughts? What's your rating, Wilf?
Mine 7. And I'll tell you why. Both him, Vieira, and one or two others who have played in the Europa. And this has been a point that a lot of people have made. When you're playing in a lesser team, it's harder to shine because there's demands around you aren't of the quality. So, we talk about the drop-off. The Europa League teams that he's played in, and one of the reasons why you saw him do as well as he did towards the end of last season is because he was playing in the first team. I think if you saw him play in the first team more, you would see more out of him. And that's true of Fabio Vieira, and I think that's true of Reece Nelson as well. Because when the games they've stepped up and everybody's gone, yeah, boy, my man, that. What teams have they been in? What's been around them?
What's your thoughts, King? I want to say something, but I want to move it on as well.
I have to give Eddie a 5, and the reason why is that even all the previous seasons, if you look at in the Carabao Cup, in the Europa League, he's always shined there.
We played in lesser teams then.
The Europa League R9, and I feel like this season I was really expecting something special from Eddie because I was really impressed on what he did at the end of the last season. And in the pre-season, when I saw in pre-season as well with his link-up play with Jesus, I'm not gonna lie, I had some big expectation of Eddie, and not to his fault totally, but he's not been able to live up to that. That doesn't mean that I've given up on him, but I think he's one of them. Next part of the season, he's gonna have to step up, really.
And he will.
I think the difference between him and Vieira is that Vieira didn't have a preseason, so he hasn't been up to speed as well. I do think people underestimate how hard it is to join a new club injured. But yeah,
you see,
both of you are dead to me. I'm sorry.
I'm B&B. I'm B&B.
And him too.
But Luke saying, I think we should sell Eddie and Ketia, raise money to get better options. Almost at that point with Lokonga too. We'll give him the rest of the season, hopefully seeing him in that Xhaka role more often. Eddie, I'm not ready to sell him yet. Next second part of the season, we'll have to wait and see. And even then, I'm not there with Eddie to sell him.
I think one of the issues though with Eddie, and I've said this many times, he's never had a full season at senior level where he's played week in, week out. And I do think that, unfortunately, it would have been better if we had another striker and he went on loan like Balogun had to do. Because you remember last season, Balogun was struggling. Even in the championship, he was very up and down. But you see now he's flourishing.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. Don't think anyone would.
Wilf would trust me.
Yeah, Wilf would.
Hey, listen. There'd be some riot, and there'd be a one-man riot if you get rid of Eddie, man. I just think. I mean. I just again, people. You said it earlier. T. Look at his age.
Yeah,
we just talked about Jesus at 25. Is he going to improve and whatever? He's not even at the first rung yet. You know what I mean? Jesus was, how old was Jesus when he came to, he's 21 when he came to Man City? 20. Yeah. 20. Yeah. Eddie's, how old is Eddie now?
I think it's 22 now.
22. And we're expecting him at 22 to be like Jesus' level. Yeah. Oh, a lot of people are not 22. Where was Jesus at 22? Yeah. Where was Kane at 22? And I think we're too hard on Eddie.
Yeah.
He will come good.
I think he needs a lot.
Yeah.
I think he needs
something.
I think Eddie is one of them guys, and he said this in interviews. He needs to play.
Yeah.
And I think
he's a runner games.
I think he's a bit frustrated this season.
Exactly that there. We need to keep moving on. Right, we've still got a few more players to go through quickly. Rob Holding. It's 5 or 6 for me. I'll let you, man, decide.
6. Because he's Houdini and he's hardly put a foot wrong when he's come on.
He has PSV. That was poor.
Yeah, I think.
I said hardly. I said hardly.
He had many games and he was poor then, and I thought it was poor.
But he's a squad player, he's got the right mentality, he's got the attitude. He's Arsenal.
The past 2 games that he did play in Europa League, he was shocking. I think before that he was good. But again, with his ability, what do we expect? I think from his ability-wise, it's 5 or 6, and I think that's what he is holding. If we were to play a back 5 where people put cross in, I think he would do well at Brentford. Someone like Holding, I think he'd do well there. But I give him a 5. Okay.
Tomiyasu quickly as well. 7, 6 or 7.
Yeah,
7.
Yeah,
I love Tommy. Reliable.
Well. Yeah,
and remember him like Ben White has been played out of position. And when he was playing them, think of the games where he played left back, and he was the business for us. 7.
You saying King 7 as well? Yeah.
I'm in between 6 and 7. I'm not sure which one.
Because it's hard, isn't it?
One, I because I rate Tomiyasu so highly, and he's played so little.
Yeah.
And he's had 2-3 games where he didn't look good, and then he's had 2-3 games where he looked fantastic.
Amazing. Yeah.
It's hard because the sample size is not the biggest.
Yeah.
But I give him a 7 because of that Liverpool game.
Yeah. He's the best one-on-one defender in the league. Man on man, and aerially, I think there's very few better than him.
His figures in the air is fantastic.
Just Vieira. I'm gonna say, a 6. Yeah, for Vieira. I don't think that's
I
hard.
think 6 is no. I
Yeah,
think
no.
6 is fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
And I think
First
the
season.
reason why we give him 6 because we know the potential is there. So
Yeah.
a 6 for now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
no. And first season, again, him like Eddie, you see what happens when he's in a better squad. And he's learning the system, he's learning the Premier League, he's learning, 6 is good.
Exactly that. 6. Yep. And I'm saying the same for Lokonga as well. A little bit too much criticism for Lokonga in my liking, given the fact, once again, I don't think that position is his in that role there. I don't think that's where Arteta wants him to play in this current team. He's definitely a 6/8 who works much better in a double pivot. I'm going to say a 6.
So you getting Lokonga a 6, and then what is he going to give Eddie? What was he going to give Eddie?
A 5. Lokonga. Oh, hold on. Lokonga. No. Lokonga has actually played well in Premier League games as well. Do you know what I mean?
Don't make me have to come over there.
Nah,
don't make me have to come over there.
King.
I will jump.
I think with Lokonga, he was a bit unlucky because in pre-season he was playing number 8 and he was actually looking saucy. He had one game where he was 6 and he looked so shaky, and then the other games he played the number 8 role and he was very good.
I thought he played the 6 against Villa, and I thought he was excellent. One of our best players.
Yeah, in that game. Yeah. I feel for Lokonga. I think he's another player who needs to go on loan next season. Ideally to a Premier League team.
Yeah. I'd agree with the 6 on him.
Yeah. 6,
yeah, there we go. 6. Reece as well. 6.
Yeah, because he hasn't played too much.
And when he has played, he has looked all right, I thought. Well, he got a ridiculous amount of criticism for the Bodo Glimt one as well. I thought he was quite decent.
Yeah.
And apparently he was very good against Brighton as well. So he seems to find his form now. He just needs to play more to get higher grades.
Yeah, I hear that. And B&B is right in a way. Tommy should be ahead of Tierney because he's had a bigger impact in those games, in those bigger games like against Liverpool. I think that's a good point. Lokonga on loan to Burnley. Good shout, Luke.
It isn't a bad shout.
Yeah,
I think he could be in the Premier League though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want a team in the Premier League, and ideally not for a team that's struggling too much. I want to see him.
Yeah, mid-table, a solid mid-table team.
Yeah. Gets possession and gets a little bit more physical. Brentford would be
Palace.
Yeah, Brentford or Palace.
Palace is excellent shout. I like that one. I like where you're going. I like the way you're thinking. Vieira is now coming on. This will be his pre-season. Exactly that there. Definitely. And we've got a few more to run through. El Nene, a bit hard to rate. I haven't put the Smith Rowe in here on purpose because he hasn't played any games. But
I think El Nene, you can't really, for the same reason, you can't really judge him.
Same with Marquinhos as well. Had a very good performance against Zurich. Kind of. I think the club are looking to put him on loan in January.
I did say that. I've said that if they put him on loan, it wasn't going to be till January. It was going to be at the beginning of the season. I said that. But again, Marquinhos, the sample size is very low. I want to give him a 5-6 because of his impact when he went in them first games that he played. Yeah.
Exactly. I rate that. Listen, should we say, given the expectation, King, should we say 6? Because there wasn't really.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Because there weren't any. I wasn't sure we were going to see. So, fair play to him.
Matt Turner, he's someone I want to give a 7, right? Because he struggled initially, but he's picked it up and his levels. I'm happy with his steady progression. 7?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 7.
Yeah. I think he was unlucky to not get picked. The last game against Brighton.
Yeah. I think he was.
I think he was ill. I think it was ill. Because I don't remember. He wasn't on the bench. He had some sort of illness or something.
I think he was on the bench, but because he's only just come back from injury, he's
that's right. That's right. Yeah. But he's another one that's been given so much criticism before he's even had a chance to actually pull on till the shirt's warm on his back. And again, because of Ramsdale's distribution and all the rest of it, you're comparing him to him. If he was compared to Ramsdale, then he would be challenging for the number 1 spot. He's a number 2. He's a solid number 2. He does what he does. In the games that he's played, he's been with maybe it's a couple of shaky moments, but that's the first time he's pulled on an Arsenal shirt in vengeance.
Exactly.
The brother is international goalkeeper 7. No problems with him whatsoever.
Right there. Penultimate one, Zinchenko. Oh. 7.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for his injuries, he'd be 8. Yeah. I love Zin, isn't he?
Yeah, 7. That's fair.
And then,
I think he says, I mean, and I know probably people don't agree with me. I think he has been as transformative as Jesus. Not as high profile, but as transformative, both off and on the field.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I
saw before his injury how good he was.
Yeah.
I know. He'd have been 9 or 8, 9 before the injury. But with the injuries, it's been difficult. But last and certainly not least, I want to hit Granit Xhaka. And Wilf, you start off with this, and there's only one number you can go with. Wait there. Wilf, give me the number for Granit Xhaka.
You know that the amount of humble pie I'm eating on this, man. Give him a 10. Give him a 10. He's undroppable. The turnaround in the last 18 months or so, 12 to 18 months, both his attitude on and off the field, the redemption arc. This is a superhero film. You know what I mean? With Granit Xhaka's name on it. And just in the same way as we don't do what we do now without Partey, I think a lot of that can be leveled at Xhaka as well. And his change of mentality showed in who's the game that he wrangled with somebody?
Chelsea again.
Chelsea wrangled and totally controlled that situation. He was totally in control. And so you got to give the man a 10.
And King, me and you, ever since I've met you, bro, we've been defending Granit Xhaka. So, you know what? That's why I had to give Wilf the platform there.
I was just eating chips and enjoying that he's finally found the light. You know,
exactly.
There's hope for Wilf now.
He's now a member of the Arsenal show. He wasn't before.
Okay.
Now he is.
Welcome.
Exactly.
That was your inauguration.
I swallowed the red pill. I'm in the Matrix now.
Exactly.
Granit Xhaka. I could do a whole show on how good and important he's been to us this season. All I'm gonna say is that he's a leader. He's our captain. He scored goals, winnable games for us where we won 1-0. Assist. He's in the defense, blocking, heading. He's in the attack, creating, scoring. He's a machine this season. He's been our best player so far, honestly. Him and Benoit have been so good, and for me,
Exactly. I'd agree with Luke.
100%. It's unseen. Sometimes I have to be like, is that Granit? Like, am I dreaming?
I know. Adding goals, everything.
And it just shows where, again, the criticism against Arteta that he can't develop players, that he's not a good tactician.
Can't handle big names.
He took him
big egos.
Can't improve players.
Where he was fragile, and now he's made him to one of the best players in the league.
It is crazy. And you know, when you say that, Luke, you're spot on, but you're also wrong because it's not just football, sport. I've not seen that. I've not seen sport in history. It's crazy to come from where he is. Honestly, it'll be a fantastic movie Oh
No, it
please.
would be.
It would.
If we see armpits this season, oh my days, brother!
Oh my God.
You
Be
man
the
do
best
realize
redemption history. Like,
exactly. Me, King.
You wouldn't
spoke about
believe it
this in the car.
if you made the film. You wouldn't believe it if
no.
you didn't put Jack Grealish Nack's name and you did the story. People go, you talking
Yeah.
madness. That
You-
don't happen
You're
in sport. That happen in
exaggerating.
football.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. And then pigs start flying. Yeah, in there.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? But literally, man, then if we do the unthinkable, you do realize he's gonna have one hand on that trophy with that lift. It'll be him and
Yeah.
Odegaard. Right.
Yeah.
Doing
Yeah.
that whole.
It has to be.
Oh, Safi. All right,
You
we need to
deserve-
wrap it up before
Yeah.
before it gets too exciting in here. So,
Yeah.
guys, massive thank you to each and every one of you that has tuned in and stayed in for the whole 2 hours. We had Kendor in here as well.
Yeah.
Saying eyelids getting puffy. We're out now. Massive appreciation.
Yeah.
Whether you come in for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, whatever. You guys are absolutely phenomenal. We love each and every one of you. Not just myself. I'm speaking on behalf of Wilf, behalf of King, the community that you created. Guys, I'm going to say something here. I'm going to tell you because Wilf and King, they love this show and they love the community that we got here. And honestly, I can't thank you enough for that. The messages I get from both of these, man, is can't wait for the show. And that's because of you guys, the community that you create. It's not just because of me, you know. I wish it was, but it's about the conversations we have, the questions that you guys ask, the debates, everything. And it wouldn't be possible without you guys in the chat right now. And honestly, you mean the most to me. And hopefully we can get this channel keep going, keep pushing, and we can do this not just around Arsenal, but around other clubs as well. Time permitting.
100%.
Because you know 100%. What? We all watch a lot of football. You know, King watches a lot of football. Wilf does. Wilf plays a lot of football as well, even still. So massive credit to him, man. So yeah, guys, this is a dream, and this is I said that's the title of the video, in fact. But yeah, this is a dream indeed. But yeah, before I wrap up, the floor is yours, King. Let the people know where they can find you and what to look out for coming up on your channel.
Big up to you once again for having me on. Like, I love doing this show. It's a pleasure to be here with you two and with the chat, the community, the interaction, the discussion. It's amazing. Guys, you can find me here on Tereak Talk. You can find me on my own channel, King Football Show. And you can also find me on lots of other channels. Big up to Steven as well on SVP TV, charity channel. And yeah, it was a pleasure. And just quickly, just got to give a 10 to the fans, home fans, away fans.
Yes,
Fantastic this season. They deserve credit. Love them. And Mikel as well. I have to give you a 10. Yeah, best start in our history ever with this group of players. You deserve a 10. So, yeah.
Edu and Josh as well. Edu and Josh, because they kept faith with him. You know what I mean?
Great points.
He's got us in a position where we can win the title.
Yeah.
And whether we're going to or not, nobody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even though City, everybody says City, nobody knows, but we can.
You see, B's turned it into a backhanded compliment now. Do you know what I mean? Exactly. And speaking of the man. Honestly.
Yeah, I know. Playing football at 118 years.
Exactly. Exactly. You know what I mean? 118.
The real robot. That's the real robot right there. He don't
stop. Care about Haaland.
What am I talking about Haaland? Haaland can't still do it twice a week. You know what I mean? So
it's true. Now, but my brother Wilf, man, thank you so much once again. You're an absolute pleasure to co-host with, and the same goes for you as well, King. You already know this, man. Then let the people know where they can find you, man.
I'm here. I'll be in the Discord. I'll be in the chat. I love doing the show. It's one of the highlights of my week. Especially when I'm on with you guys, both of you. Even though I can't stand both of you, and you're dead to me. With the whole editing. But yeah, I love the debate. I love the chat. It makes me think about football. It makes me, when I'm watching the games, it enhances it. I'm here whenever I get the call, and I love the community, the family, the TTF. You know what I mean? TTF means something to me now. Actually means. For
real, man, for real. And the last thing, literally just before I play the outro, Guys, this is a little warm-up, little teaser in terms of what's coming. Check out Thursday. But Wilf, King, quickfire. King, start with you. Who's winning the World Cup?
Brazil.
Wilf, who's winning the World Cup?
Brazil.
Oh. You'll find out my predictions on Thursday, people.
I kind of want to go something different to King.
Yeah.
And just, you know what? I'm gonna go. Just to be different. I'm gonna go Argentina.
That would be a great final, though. Argentina will win. Messi name.
Exactly. You'll find out my prediction on Thursday and why I choose England. Take care, people.